Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you a playthrough of Shores of Tripoli. Now I've got it set up right here. I'm actually about halfway through the playthrough as I'm filming this. This video will be the setup and get us ready to go, and then I should be able to fit the entire gameplay portion into the next video. So before we get down to the game topper, I do want to mention our sponsor, Board Game Co. Now this is a fantastic website where you can buy, sell, and trade games. They have a great selection of games for you to choose from if you're just looking to expand your collection. You're just looking to buy more games, get in that you're building that collection out. You're trying to reach 1,000 games, whatever it is. They have a great selection for you to choose from. If you're looking to pare down your collection, they also will take games off your hands. You can sell games to them. They have an easy-to-use system to sell games to them. They make it very easy to handle all that. Go over there, check out that system, and you'll see how that works as well. And then the really cool feature is they have a trade system. The way this trade system works is if you have a Board Game Geek account, you can set up a trade list where games that you want in trade, games that you have for trade. You then go over to Board Game Co. You put in your Board Game Geek username, and they will then compare your trade list with their stock, and they'll build a trade list right there on the website so that you can then click, okay, I'm going to send this one to you. I want to get this one from you. You click review. They will then review it on their end and then approve the trade, and boom, you've got a trade going. It's really easy to use. I just did it recently myself. Be sure to check out Board Game Co. If you do, click on the link in the description below so they know I sent you over there. Board Game Co. makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. Okay, let's get down to the table, and I'm going to show you the setup for Shores of Tripoli. All right, so here we go. We've got Shores of Tripoli. Now the board is pretty long, so I'm going to show you this half first, then we'll move over there and see what the rest of it looks like. We've got the American startup here. This is my deck. I'll be playing the Americans. The AI plays as Tripoli. Got Thomas Jefferson. These are called core cards. These cards are always out. I basically get to use them one time throughout the game, and then they'll be discarded. You can see after, it says here at the bottom of each of them, after playing as an event, this card is removed from the game. All right, so I've got Thomas Jefferson, who will let me move 8 American frigates on the board at one time, and then I'll resolve any battles that result. Got Hammett's Army Created, playable if it's spring 1804. So when this is here and it's on spring, at that point or later in the game, I can play this card. It also requires there to be 1 American frigate in the harbor of Alexandria, which is the city all the way on the right side of the board. And then place 1 Marine and 5 Arab infantry units in the city of Alexandria. This right here, Swedish frigates arrive. Place 2 Swedish frigates in the naval patrol zone of Tripoli. So we'll talk about all that more in just a minute. Up here we've got Gibraltar, where I start with 3 frigates. These big ones are frigates. The Tripoli player, the AI, has 2 Corsairs in Gibraltar. This is the one place on the board when we're in the same place at the same time we don't fight. I guess historically the British had a big presence here, and they kind of prevented fighting from happening here between us. They didn't want any of that going on there, I guess, or something along those lines. We've got Tangier here, which is in Morocco. Potentially Tangier could end up declaring war in support of their ally Tripoli. Anytime you see the circle, that's a harbor. Anytime you see this lighter blue area, that's a patrol zone, a naval patrol zone. We've got Algiers here. We've got Tunis, I believe is how that's pronounced. Malta is up there on the top right of your screen right now. And we've got Tripoli here. Tripoli starts with 5 Corsairs and 4 infantry. Let's see. This right here is the time track. So I could end up playing up to 6 years here. So we start in 1801, in the spring of 1801. A turn is going to be I play 1 card, Tripoli plays 1 card, and then this advances. So that's 1 turn, okay? When this gets to winter, then it'll come back to spring and the year will advance. You can see there's a frigate in each of these 3 years. Every time I enter that year, this frigate comes out on the board into Gibraltar, and I can use it. You You can also see I've got these gold pieces here. These are 12 gold pieces. One of the ways Tripoli wins is if they get all 12 gold pieces. The idea for Tripoli is they're trying to make this war as costly for me as possible. So if any point Tripoli has all 12 of my gold pieces, then it's been too monetarily costly for America and they'll pull out. Or if Tripoli sinks 4 American frigates, then it has been too costly in terms of casualties for America and they'll pull out. So that's how Tripoli's trying to win. The way I'm trying to win is there's 2 possibilities. In this deck, there's a card, which you'll see pretty soon, where basically I forced them to sign a peace treaty. And there's very specific details on that card as far as what the game state needs to be for me to be able to force them to sign that treaty. You know what? Let's pull it out. Let's pull it out. And I'll reshuffle the deck. Let's see. Here we go. So, Treaty of Peace and Amity. So, playable if it's the fall of 1805 or later. So, 1805 and the fall. So, 1805, fall or later. The cities of Algiers, Tangier, Tunis are all at peace, meaning there's no corsairs in any of those cities. So, right now, technically, they're all at peace. The city of Dern, which is over on that side, has been captured, and there are no Tripolitan frigates in the harbor of Tripoli. So Tripoli, and there's certain cards that Tripoli can play to gain frigates, certain effects that will give them frigates. They do not come across, they don't get frigates as easily as America. Like I get frigates, every year for these first 3 years, and there's other cards I can get. Tripoli actually has a maximum of 2 frigates that they could have at one time. So I just had to make sure they don't have them. The other way that I can win the game is by taking Tripoli, by actually conquering Tripoli. So let's move down to the other side of the board real quick. Okay, so now down here you've got the Tripoli AI. So these 2 cards are only ever used in solo, all right? So you've got 5 Corsairs, check. If there are 5 or more Corsairs in the harbor of Tripoli, Tripoli performs a pirate raid. Do not discard this card. And then you've got raid or build. If a harbor, Algiers, Tangier, Tunis, or Tripoli, has at least 3 Corsairs or more Corsairs than American and Swedish frigates in the corresponding naval patrol zone, raid from that harbor. Raiding, by the way, is the primary way that they will gain gold. It's pirate raids. They go past the frigates out into the open water and basically raid merchant vessels. Merchant vessels don't have any pieces in the game. It's abstracted out. The main thing is they're trying to get past my frigates and gunboats and everything. Otherwise, place a Tripolitan Corsair in the harbor of Tripoli. All right. Then we've got, so these cards right here are not necessarily core cards, at least not for the AI. They are the ones that start, and when it's the AI's turn, we check this card first, see if the necessary game state is in place for this card to trigger, and then we'll trigger it if it is. If not, we move to this one and check. And if that one's not ready, we move to that one. If that one's not ready, then we draw a card from here and see what it says. And on the back of the rule book, there's all these requirements for the individual cards to trigger. All right, so then you can see Benghazi starts with 4 troops, 4 infantry, as does Dern. All right, so Dern is the city that, for me to force the peace treaty, the city I have to have control of. There's Alexandria, which is where Hamet's army will first show up. And then up here we have the remainder of the supply. These yellow frigates are the Swedish frigates. For the most part, when they show up, they'll show up and they'll just patrol Tripoli. They don't actually go into Tripoli's harbor to fight anybody. They basically are here to try to deal with pirates or with pirate raids, to prevent pirate raids when the Corsairs come out of the Tripoli harbor. The white infantry are Arab infantry that Hamet brings to the table, basically. And then the blue infantry are Marines that the Americans bring to the table. Hamid is America's ally over here that they're trying to install into power in Tripoli. We've got 3 American gunboats, the small ones, and 2 more frigates we can add to the mix with certain effects. And then over here, the Tripoli supply, you can see there's 2 frigates there, right here, 2 more Corsairs, a good bit more infantry there. There's 8 more infantry they could have on the board. And then these orange or orangish yellow ones are the Corsairs that could end up in Tunis, Algiers, and Tangier. Then across the top of the board, we have all these combat cards. They're lined up in this order because generally that's the order that they'll get triggered throughout the game. And as those come up, we'll discuss them when the time comes. And you can see that's what this section here is all about, triggering those cards. Like, so for instance, the very first one here, Happy Hunting, which is the first one here, play on the first Tripolitan pirate raid. And most likely that will be the first out of all these triggers to go off. All right, so there you go. That is Shores of Tripoli's setup. The next video we put out for this will be the gameplay. Like I said, I think I can fit the entire gameplay into one video, so we'll see how that goes. Sorry about my kids. I'm pretty sure you can hear them, but I'm filming this one during the day, and somehow that's what you got to do. So yeah, also I do have a contest going on or a giveaway going on right now. Click on this link right here so you can see, or it's on this side, I think, this side of the screen. There's some links over here. Click on one of those. It'll get you to the video for that giveaway. Giving away 6 games. I'm not telling you what the games are. One person will get all 6 games though, so be sure to check that video out and enter that giveaway. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.